Okay. It is Wednesday, so that means we are live with the AI Clubhouse.
Hey, hi.
Give me an A. Give me an I. Okay, so Frank is not going to be here. He has his dad is not doing well, and so he's going to be off for a little bit. And I haven't heard from
Sorry.
Scott. Scott is MIA, so he may hop in. But it's Steve and I today. So as we get started, I want to talk about, because you just did, Steve, your first AI webinar. And let me tell you, this is from the guy that when we started the AI Clubhouse and we switched from Mortgage Influencer over to AI Clubhouse at the beginning of the year, you called me and said, "Why do you want me on this?" Am I going to bring anything of value? And I said, of course, absolutely. We're all learning, we're all exploring. And here we sit less than 6 months later. And now you have done your very first AI webinar. So tell me how it went and what it was about.
Well, it's funny that you introduced it that way because it's exactly who I think I am in our clubhouse and how we do these things. And I watch sometimes you and all due respect, and even more so, Mr. Scott, you guys are like the doctorate level AI
Oh,
people.
not
And
even.
I always want to wonder, hey, where is our audience, right? So I talk to this audience and they're like, we don't know how to spell AI. And we've heard of this thing. So it was a very 101 basic. I don't want to pay for the paid version of ChatGPT. I want to know, hi, what do I do? What
Gotcha.
buttons do I push? And not on a corporate level of, okay, well, the company's going to roll this out and they're going to integrate it into all of our systems and our CRM. It's like, here I am today. What can I do today for little to no money? And how can it make my life better? And it was great. And it got very interactive because people were like, oh, I know that, but can you give me a little bit more? Or what do you mean by that? Um, so I really enjoyed it enough that they came back and they said, wow, they like now version 2 of it. And here's the other questions that they like to follow up with. So I think that's great. And
Nice.
the other thing that I did that sometimes I think we can get caught up here in our own little system is we show things live. And instead, I made it, and I know you've done this outside of the clubhouse, but it's when you're the site, it has a B on it. All of a sudden, it
Beehive,
just
the AI Beehive.
Beehive. I'm sorry, the name just escaped me. It was a little bit more of a how-to. So instead of just saying, "Here, let me show you," clickety, 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 click, and they're like, "Okay, I forget how to get to that page." It helped them walk through it, and they
Oh,
appreciate
nice. Very
it.
good. Good. Yeah, and that's the whole reason. So Steve is talking about the directory that I made that's called AI Beehive. So if you go to www.aibeehive.com, then there, I don't even know how many's on there right now. We keep adding new ones every day, Steve,
Mhm.
that get, if someone will reach out. And honestly, companies can add their own to that directory as well. And so the idea is to give you a place where you can go and start searching for tools that you can use. And, and when we were just getting ready for this live stream, you were talking about, I just want to learn how to use Canva. And I know Chelsea, I think, is going to making a course on AI and Canva, because there's definitely things you can do with it, but it has its limitations. And
Well,
so,
it's like all of AI, right? It's
yeah,
I use Canva. I literally was on Canva before this call. I live for Canva,
right,
but every day you wake up and you open your eyes and like, here's 4 new things that you can do on Canva. And it's like, oh, thanks for that newsletter. Now I got to go learn that again. So
right.
it keeps growing, it keeps evolving, and we have to keep growing and evolving with it.
Yeah. And figure out how I love the fact that you did your webinar to where it was the 101, because sometimes, yes, it can get overwhelming when you try too many tools. And then it's like you've got a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. So really becoming a master of one and what that looks like is good. And sometimes just saying, hey, you can use it on your phone. And a lot of people don't realize that. You can use the Chat GPT on your phone and you can use the free version. So it's a great tool.
Love the record button on ChatGPT on your phone.
Yes. Yeah, that is a very cool feature. And a lot of people don't even know that. So if you want to sit, and it's not necessarily, we talked about this actually last week, and Fred Krieger had hopped on. Um, and so we had talked about, recording and meetings and things like that. So those are the kind of things. How can I use ChatGPT? How can I use AI in my average day-to-day life to where, it's not, it doesn't have to necessarily be integrated into things. And I think that's the thing that a lot of people think is like, I've got to use a chatbot. No, you don't have to use a chatbot. I need to integrate it into my CRM. No, you don't need to integrate it into your CRM. You just need to learn how to get started with it.
And
All of
that, and
those other things will come. Yeah.
you said it, use it for your everyday life.
Yeah.
And one of the examples that I said, because we can get so worked up in our industry, worried about, well, is this going to hit the guideline? And am I going to be in compliance? And how does it work with my CRM? Okay, it's too much.
Right.
I said, go on there and type in, I like to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
If you'd like to lose 20 pounds,
Right.
use it for your personal life. And all of a sudden it says, okay, eat healthy. Okay. Define eat healthy.
Right.
Eat low calorie foods. Okay, create me a schedule for 3 meals a day for 7 days.
Exactly.
Boom, 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 boom. I don't like fish, so take that out and replace it with something. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I see how this works.
Right.
Right. So if you just look at it for how can I use it for me, you'll figure out how to use it for your business.
Right. Yeah. And that's a good start. So let's do this because I really want to be able to, let me first of all bring up my screen here. What I thought we could do, and if you guys have something that you want us to cover, again, let us know. But there has been a lot of changes that have gone on in ChatGPT.
ChatGPT,
And
the thing that
so
I like to call the Kleenex of AI.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, you think about that's how Kleenex started, right? The Kleenex
Right.
brand.
Kleenex is facial tissue. It's the name, the brand that
Yeah.
everybody knows about of facial tissue. So it's the
Yeah.
same thing here.
Yep. So I am just in, and this is in we have a shared company that we use for my Edumarketing company, a ChatGPT. But when you log in, first of all, this is one of the biggest changes. And so, in fact, I'm going to pop off these other things here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
So a couple of things here you can see. This is the 3.5, so it gives you the option. And that's the free version. And then the Chat GPT 4 is what we have been all using. That is the paid version. And now the latest is ChatGPT 4.0 or 4.0. I don't see the point in there. It looks like it's 4.0. And so what it says here, you can see this is great for everyday tasks. This is an advanced model for complex tasks. And this is the newest and most advanced model. And so you can play around with these different ones to see how they do. The other thing that's new is this, which is a temporary chat. And so the temporary chat, as it says, it's not in the history. So they won't appear in your history, and it's for safety purposes. But it does say, and this is important to remember, we may keep a copy of your chat for up to 30 days. And then it says there's no model training. And so what that means is every single thing that we have been putting into ChatGPT, they have been using to train the model to be better. And so if you're using the temporary chat, that's not going to be used for that. And then the final thing is the memory's off. And so while you're in the temporary chat, It will not use or create any memories, any names. Custom instructions will still be followed as long as you have them enabled. And so this is a big change here. So this is something if you want to do something that has private information, proprietary information. That's probably one of the biggest questions that I get, Steve, is, what if I put it in there, my proprietary information? Obviously, there's concerns about that. We do have, I think there's 4 lawsuits now, and maybe more, who knows? And that's, I mean, we're going to see more and more of that, I'm sure. In fact, my brother's son, his girlfriend was with us over Thanksgiving, and she's trying to determine what area of law she wants to go into. And I said, go into AI. I mean, think about it, there's going to be huge opportunities there. So
I
let's
used to be the pre-law. I was the pre-law advisor for Towson University when I was an adjunct faculty there. I am an attorney. I didn't know if you know that or not, Ginger.
I
But
didn't know
so,
that.
so if she ever needs to have any, wants to have a chat about that, I'm more than happy to talk
Oh,
about. Because I would help people figure out what area of law they want to be in.
I
But
love
as you're
that.
saying, the new part, this temporary chat 4.0, just so you know, if you're in the other versions of it, ChatGPT is offering a free trial right now of 4.0 so that you can try it, play with it, and see if you like it.
Yeah. So depending on where you're at, so if we go into the standard 4 and not the 4.0, then you can use the temporary chat. And what it's saying is it will use what you set up for your custom instructions. And so if you're wondering where the custom instructions are at, and again, this is one of those things. So it used to be the custom sidebar to open this up was over here on the left, and now they've moved it up here. So to open your sidebar, this is where it is. And when you get to your sidebar, these are, and you have to be in 4 or 4.0 in order to use your own GPTs here. And if you are in, oh, maybe that is changed. Yeah, we can do that.
In the 3.5, it's under your name on the left-hand side at the bottom. You click on that, and it will say customize your
Yeah.
personal.
No, I was just looking. It says the 3.5, we have the custom instructions too. So that was something that was new. So yeah, so if you want to know where to do your custom instructions, then you're going to go down to the very bottom. And these are all, just so you know, these are all previous um, prompts. And so as you can see, it's saved all the way
So
down.
if you do the temporary, you will not get those prompts. They
You
will
will
not be
not,
saved
they will
over there
not
on the
be
left-hand
saved.
side.
Yeah. So if you're doing this and you have this button checked, and you can, it's darker, so it looks different. So when it's not checked, then it's going to be white. And so that's one of the things with chat. If you have a temporary chat and you put that in there, and let's say I want you to create a social media post
See,
or
I like to say, let's just say, here's where I love the temporary is because I've already set it up to say, I'm Steve, I'm a loan officer. So if
okay.
you want to start to think like a realtor and say, I'm a real estate agent, go to temporary and type in, I'm a real estate agent, have me do this. Boom. It won't remember you as the real estate agent and will go back to your original profile, I think. And it makes it that much easier.
Unless you have it in, whoops, unless you
That's if you
have
have
it,
multiple GPTs and you have one that you're a real estate agent. Yeah, I'm just
yeah.
saying.
So the other thing is the settings used to be down here on the left, and now they're over here up on the top right. And
There you
so
go.
here you've got my GPTs, customized chat GPT. So this is where your custom instructions would be. We don't have any in here because we use our ChatGPT for so many different types of people. We use ours for other GPTs. So you can click on my GPTs and it should pull it up. I'm not seeing it. Oh, maybe because we're in temporary. Okay, so I put that in there, but it didn't save it. So if you want to save your output from your prompts, then you need to turn that off. The other thing that's a big change, and I'm not a fan of this, is they changed there's always four standard prompts here. And so they've made it to where it's more of a squares before it was a little bit longer. So this is a little bit different because, to give you an example, we've got our prompts set up in the GPTs. So these are set up, and this is for Devin. We do a podcast for him, but our prompts, you can't read as much on the prompts. And so, and as you can see, that's one prompt that we have set up in a GPT, which is a very long prompt. So you can't really read as much there. So that's another change that I've noticed that would be there. But then if you
But
click,
chances are, if you've already set up your prompts and they're that long, you sort of know what they are.
yeah, you do. So this is the area. So if you go to my GPTs, and this is a fun area to get into and explore. So you need to, and again, you need to be here to where you can open the panel, click on Explore GPTs, and you can close the panel if that is too much for you to look at. And then here you'll see under the GPTs, they have their top picks. And so these are their featured. So, and usually they're bigger ones, like they have the Adobe Express. Here is Tutor Me, wins the whimsical diagrams, and a code pilot. And then they have here below that what's trending. And so these are the most popular GPTs within the community. So you can get an idea. So like this one, there's a logo creator. So if you want to do that, this one I know has been very popular, used to be very popular in Midjourney, which is where we used to have to go to create this. And now they've added a GPT in here. But you can see those are people's names. Now, being aware of what some of these GPTs are, you have to be aware of what information you're putting in there because you are sharing information with that GPT, which means they're going to have access to whatever you put in there. So that's the thing. And then these are the ones, so these are the ones that are by ChatGPT. So these are created by the ChatGPT team. So just having an idea on how some of these work. I think, did you use the coloring book one? What did you use for your book, your children's book?
I actually, it's so old. I wrote it through PowerPoint and I just pulled up my own
Oh,
stock photography and stuff like that.
okay.
But what I would use now, and folks, this is where we say there's certain things we like, we don't like. Go up to the top there a little bit where it was Dolly, it's number one.
Yeah.
I, I have never produced an image in Dolly that I have liked. So if you don't know what Dolly it is, it means, hi, create a picture that looks like blah, 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 right? I've never, it does faces very poorly, at least on
Yeah.
my computer, and I don't
Yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
What I've been using, and I learned it here on our podcast right here. Scott told us about Meta.ai and
Yeah.
Imagine, and I think their images are fantastic. So what I've been doing is, there you go, Meta.ai, bingo. Yep, Fred. So I put it in there and then I incorporate it into my other stuff.
There you go. And that's the thing I think we'll keep saying. And that is why, and again, this conversation is so important. Why we're doing this is we're all learning from each other. So what you're saying, and this is, a ChatGPT product, but it is not good. And I've had a couple of things that I've used in here, but mostly I just get frustrated. So this one, and it's giving us two now. So they will improve. It's getting a little bit better, Steve.
Hmm. They're making it blurry
Yeah, they're making it blurry. Yeah.
so that you won't get upset. But those faces are a lot. Well, I mean, look at that one kid right in the middle.
Yeah,
The,
well, that's
that face is just
well, the
very
biggest thing
realistic.
that I have seen is um on the appendages, like his fingers, you can tell. And some of
You
them
mean that
end
they're
up with
gone?
like there's six fingers, 1, 2, 3, 5. That one's maybe five. Yeah, it's just there's extra fingers and they're in weird places and things like that.
Yep.
So those are the kind of things. But there are some things. So here they've got Adobe Express. So if you use Adobe Express, and I know we use Adobe Express a lot, then you can use this. So let's say if we're just going to take one of theirs, make a flyer to promote my yoga studio grand opening. And so now it's saying, hey, hang tight. What do you want to use? And it wants to know the information. And so you can say the date, taglines, colors. So you can just copy this in here. I just always like to copy. And then
Hmm.
the date and the time, we'll just put June 1st at 2 p.m. Any specific taglines, we'll just call it Goat Yoga. I always wanted to do that. Um, red
Make
and
sure you do baby goat yoga. Full goat yoga, not as fun.
I don't know. And so the idea is, so now what it's going to do, and this is the same thing it'll do with Canva, is you have to have the Adobe Express account and you can allow, always allow or decline. So if you don't allow, then it's probably not going to give you much. But what it'll do is it will connect with Adobe. And I can tell you, Adobe is coming out with some really cool things. There's a software that we've been playing around with that I'll probably do a demo on in the next couple of weeks. We're still testing it, but this will act with that. Adobe you is very similar to Canva, but it also does a lot with videos and with PowerPoints and all kinds of different things. So here you can
And
see,
correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you can use those kind of plugins like Canva and Adobe if you're on the 3.5 version. I know you can with the 4, but I don't think you can do it with
no, I
3.5.
don't think it, I mean, I, from the previous one and that I know of, you cannot.
Yeah, I don't think, well, I agree. I just didn't know if there was a change there because I've been playing around with it.
No, and I think, I mean, obviously to their point, that's they want to charge in order to be able for you to use this. That's how they're making money.
Yep.
So I think that's it. So here, the thing that is good with using this is it has done a good job pulling the information in here. The date is a little bit off. That one, I don't know what that is. Welcome. Oh, okay. Yoga. But then once you do that, then you click on that and then it's going to connect to your Adobe Express account. Same as with what you do with your
Yeah.
yeah, your
Yeah.
Canva. So if you have these kind of accounts, then you can go in and then you can have it created. And then all you have to do is put in your website. Now, if you wanted to, you could put your address in, you could put your website in, and it would honestly make all of those things for you. So that's when you go into using something like this. And if you want to, let's say we put in when you put in the at sign, then you can pull in another um, GPT in here. So you can see, so we'll pull in Elva's. And so now we're going to be acting in Adobe Express and we're going to pull in all the custom instructions from the GPT. And so if we want to create a first time homebuyer, we'll include all information from Elva.
You
And
put Evla. I don't know if that'll recognize it.
oh, I did. I'll probably do it. We'll see.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Nope, it did. So this is what's really cool with this. So let's see what to expect, what to learn. Here's a flyer. Oh, it didn't do it though. Let's see if it'll create one. Yeah. Okay. It's a great idea. And supposedly, let's see if it does it. sometimes I can get it to do it, and sometimes it doesn't do that. You're supposed to be able to layer the GPTs on top of each other so you can use Canva and it'll pull information because you can see in her GPT, we have all of her licensing, we have all of her social media, we have her website, we have her contact information, we have all of this in here. So I didn't have to put any of that in, and it did it good. It did it well. Um, it just didn't pull it in here. So that's the only thing with that.
But it's still super easy. When you flip it over to the other, you can just, I know it's annoying, but you can actually just type your address in instead of having it do it for you.
Well, or what you could do is, so let's say
It's
we
like
set that
everything.
up.
We always have to double check our work and make sure it's correct in the product that it is producing.
Yeah. So if we do that, so let's just say we're going to take, and maybe you have to do the two-step. So we'll do the two-step there. And we are on Adobe Express. And let's put in create a first time homebuyer flyer using this information as the loan officer. And let's see if they add it. And it says it's going to use the information. So you could just use that. I want, I always like, I'm going to figure out what's a little tiny thing I need to do in order to make it work. Okay, so here we've got it. So now we're going to go in, we're going to allow it to connect with Adobe Express. So now I can create that. And it didn't, no,
Yeah, because it says something my site or whatever. It's not her site.
no, it's not. So I wonder if we did it in, because we're in, yeah, see, that's part of it. Are we in? It's four, yeah, that's 4.0. Okay. So that is where we're at. And that's the thing too. It's like with these new releases, get in there, find out what works, and share them. So, guys, we have the group, the AI Clubhouse. And feel free, like Fred, the things you're doing, hop in there and share those things. You know, what's working, what's not working. Those are the whole idea is we're a community to help each other to really learn how to use this. So if you're finding something that's better, like Meta, then pop that into the Facebook group and share that. Or if you're looking for something, pop into the AI Clubhouse Facebook group and ask a question. Those are the things that are very, very helpful there.
And I'll give a reward. I'll give a cookie or a donut to the first person you can find that AI that will allow you to take an Excel spreadsheet of all of your contacts and then it'll go and look them up and then it'll populate through LinkedIn or whatever what their email address is. I check that about once a month to see if they allow that to happen and they still don't. So if you
Please.
put that in there, that'd be great.
You can get a cookie or a donut.
Yeah. I'll
Uh,
try Claude.
Great.
Do it, Fred. I've tried Claude for that. It said, go away. We don't like you. But I have tried. Do it. Let me know if it works.
Yeah, I tell you what, if it does, that'll put a lot of those businesses out of business that charge
Yes,
you
it
for
will.
those lists for sure.
Yep.
So, and the final thing is, I was reading just a short article this morning, just talking about will search engines be a thing of the past because of all the searches that are happening within all of these AI platforms. And, you know, Google admittedly doesn't know. So nobody knows. Things will be completely different in the next 10 years.
And did you see what Elon Musk said last week about AI?
I can't say I did.
He said it's going to replace the majority of the jobs in the world.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. I'm just saying, now that's where you said, hey, is it going to replace search engines? That's what made me think of it.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of like does the internet going to replace us? And Fred talked about that when he hopped on last week too. It's like the internet didn't replace any of us. It's just changed how we did business. So,
Right.
and opened opportunities. So, that's the whole thing. There are definitely jobs that will be eliminated because of it. No question. But I tell you what, yeah, exactly, Fred. It'll give us more time eventually. That's what we're hoping for.
Automated underwriting did not replace underwriters. That's what I always go back to.
Yeah, very good point. Very true. Very, very true. Okay, my friends, thank you so much for joining us. Hop on again next week. And Steve, you will not be joining us next week. So safe travels. Enjoy the beach. I know you're going on vacation.
Go
So
on vacation. Shh, not telling anybody where I'm going. Just destination unknown. Have a
yeah.
good one, everybody.
Okay, take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.